Dogs, the SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Testosterone high today.
Yeah, Tom's a man, he's got the plan, he's really got it made. What a wife he's got, she's smoking hot, check out the junkyard babe. When everything is said and done, no one can beat his show. He's a high-tech redneck, Tony Soprano. If you love sports without the fluff, he's got the master plan. Cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham, yeah.
I guess I'm on here, am I on? Can somebody respond?
Yeah, baby. How about a little Throwback Thursday here in the doghouse? Yeah. A little bit of a truncated show for you today, but it is Throwback Thursday. That means you'll hear a lot of that throwback theme music from some of the greatest TV shows of the past. It's always a great way on a Thursday to serenade you with a little throwback music. But speaking of serenading you, as I said, we do have a truncated show today. Got a lot of baseball on tap today, starting with the Braves and the Giants coming up at 11:20 first pitch after that ridiculous comeback last night in Atlanta.
Here it comes. And there it goes in the air to center field and deep. Racing back Slater, still going to the warning track at the wall. Gone! Dansby Swanson electrifies Truist Park. Solo homer to center. And it's 3-2. William Contreras waiting for a 2-1 pitch. Here it is, and it's lined. Base hit to left, through the hole. Ozuna racing to third, waved around. Ruff's throw will come to second, and this game is tied at 3 apiece. Rogers second, 2-1. Swinging a line drive. Completely dominated by Rodon. And then finally they scratch a run out against him, then give up a run in the ninth, and you're down 2 going to the bottom half, and the Braves collect 3 runs to stun the Giants.
Stun the Giants. What a game. What a game last night. Now, we'll have game 4 of that series. Remember, Grizz says 5-2. I said 4-3. On this homestand, 4 with the Giants and 3 with the Dodgers this weekend. So we're going to see. I mean, right now they're 2-1. So now they've got the Giants. Can they go 3-1 against the Giants? That'd be great. That game, first pitch, 11:20. You'll hear it right here. Now, after that game, we'll have the Ole Miss-Arkansas game to decide who goes to the College World Series Championship Series against – did I just say series twice? Well, it's the College World Series Championship Series. I guess that's okay. Against Oklahoma. Look, we all love our sports talk, and we love to bump our gums here. But in the end, it's the games that are the thing, right? I mean, that's what we talk about. And if we can give you the games, we do that first, in my opinion. Now, I've been with a number of different radio stations in my 25 years on the radio, and I get that. And so there's been, always been this debate. Sports talk or a game? Sports talk or the game? To me, the sports talk is the cherry on top of the sundae. The sundae is the games. No games, no sports talk. In the end, the games are the thing. Too many sports talk show hosts think that they are the thing. Of course, we don't have to worry about this during football season because the football games are played on a weekend. And they don't, conflict with us in midday when we're having a show. But there are too many guys that do what I do, to crack open a mic and think they're the important thing. They're the number one thing. They're not the one. We're not. We are not. It's the games. Know what's important. All right, phone lines are open. 256. That means we're out early today. 256-5764-977. 256-5764-977. You want to jump in. You can also text the show, 732-9TA show, 732-982-7469. It's a great way to communicate with us. My personal Twitter feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch the show on Twitch and on Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. and on our YouTube channel at 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Like and subscribe there to get notifications. Just go to 977ESPN.com and get links to all of that. And while you're at it, get the app where you can get the links to Zone 2 and Zone 3 and Zone 4, our alternate streaming channels for more great programming. Now, coming up in a few minutes, Steve Merrill from Pro Sports Info is in, and we're going to get his thoughts on some of the win totals for the SEC this upcoming season. They are always fun to look at and to speculate about. I'm not sure that you want to tie up money betting on the win totals because then your money's tied up for months. I mean, literally half a year. But some of these are kind of salty. You know who's always good at these has been Grumpy. Grumpy's always been able to make a pick on these. But they're fun to look at. Alabama last year was 11.5 for the regular season. Win totals are always just for the regular season. They don't include conference championship games or playoff games or bowl games, none of that stuff. Regular season. So Alabama last year was 11.5. So if you like the over, you were predicting that Alabama would run the table. Now, remember, you don't remember. But every year at SEC Media Days, I predict the record for every single team in the SEC. I predicted for Alabama 11-1. It's my SEC Media Day tradition. The problem was I couldn't exactly say where that one would be. I thought the Texas A&M game could be problematic. There was only a couple of spots where you would worry about them. But I said they would be 11-1 without being able to nail the exact game that they would lose. I thought they'd get tripped up somewhere. And so that was the under. 11-1 was the under because it was 11.5. This year they are 10.5. 10.5. So if you like the under again, you have to find 2 losses in there. 2 losses. So you got to go through the schedule and you're going to say, where are there 2 ahead to week? October 1st, Arkansas. After Texas A&M, they got a game at Tennessee. Get off a 15-year schneid? Nah. It's still going to LSU. It's still Baton Rouge. And then after that, they go to Ole Miss. They go to Oxford. So you got to say that the Ole Miss game and the LSU game, because they're on the road, the Arkansas game, those are 3 tough road games. And this game. I don't think that's a problem. So anyway, that's one you look at with Alabama. Auburn opened up at 5.5, which gets Brian Harsin fired. Right? They have been bet up to 6 last year. And I had them at 7-5. That's why when everybody went nuts about how, how they overperformed and all of this kind of stuff and how, oh, my gosh, and Josh, I said, what'd they do? They were 7-5. They didn't beat anybody they shouldn't have beaten. They were 7-5. This year, they're 7.5. So do they go over or under 7.5? It feels like maybe 7-5 again. We'd have to look at their schedule. Do they go 8-4? If they go 8-4, a Tennessee fan, I'm going to tell you, if you go 8-4 in year 2 under Josh Heupel, I'm going to say, depending on how those 4 losses look and who you beat in that 8-4, I will say to you, you know what? You're going in the right direction. At the top of the 11, we'll visit with Trash Panda skipper Andy Schatzley. Congratulate him on his first half win and how they focus for the second half. They lost a slugfest last night in Birmingham. And speaking of the parent club, the LA Angels, how about this freak Shohei Ohtani doing freaky Shohei things again? I mean, are you kidding me with this guy? A night after homering twice and setting a career high with 8 RBI at the plate, he did that Tuesday. He comes back yesterday, and he sets another career high with 13 strikeouts over 8 scoreless innings in their 5-0 win last night against the Royals. Ohtani retired 23 of the last 24 batters he faced. He retired 23 out of the last 24 batters he faced and became the first player in Major League Baseball history, which is only 153 years. I know they are Major League Baseball. He becomes the first player in Major League Baseball to have at least 8 RBI in a game one night and then strike out at least 10 batters the next night. Of course he did. Who was even keeping track of something like that? How do you look something like that up? Okay, who had 8 RBI and turned around and struck out 10-plus people? How do you look that up? Who else is in the running? Only freaking Babe Ruth. She's the only other guy. Babe Ruth. Shohei, Babe Ruth. And on a sad note, Tony Siragusa passed away yesterday at the age of 55. He was a great player. He had a lot of Art Donovan in him. Those of you that don't know who Art Donovan was, now look, I didn't see Artie Donovan play. I know Art Donovan from all the stories and the anecdotes. He was that guy. Art Donovan with his great lines. I never pulled a muscle. He goes, I didn't have any. I mean, Art Donovan was always a great quote, and so was Tony Siragusa. He one time said about a team, he said they couldn't run the ball, and we took away the pass. So what's left? He goes, they did punt the ball well. It's classic Goose. I really thought he was the best sideline analyst we have ever seen. No, I really did. I'm surprised that we haven't seen more like him. You can have your sideline models. You can have your Aaron Andrews, and you can have your whoever else. You can have your sideline models that tell us, you know, that Johnny Blue twisted his ankle and he's questionable to return. You can have your sideline eye candy. I will take Tony Siragusa as a sideline analyst, not a reporter, an analyst. Long before a Tom Luganville or Todd McShay or others, you still don't really see it in the NFL much. They tried to do it with Booger McFarland, but you couldn't understand what he was saying. This guy was the best on the sideline because you got to feel it like a player. He was telling you things that were going on out there like a player. I mean, that was what was unique about him. And he was funny. He was outstanding. He was John Madden on the sideline. Imagine John Madden on the sideline. He was that good. I don't know why in 2015 he was done. I don't know why that was. He wrote a book in 2012 titled Goose. And I hate the Ravens. So I didn't read the book. I'm embarrassed to say that. But I downloaded the book yesterday to my Kindle. And I will be reading it soon. I got a lot of time on my hands now. I will be reading it soon. I'm reading Steve Williams' book right now. As soon as I'm done with that, next up will be the Tony Siragusa book. Over there in the little glass room with the slanted ceiling, playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax and answering the phones and keeping us on the air and spending time training Crash McDougal or Crash Kumasut or whatever. Crash the Bandy Man can. He's over there training the Bandy Man. DJ Grizzy Chris.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. That Tom? Hey, Tom.
Yeah, Grizzalicious, how you doing, man?
I'm doing just fine. Just kind of, Crash, Lowry, and I are just kind of holding it down right now. And, Yeah, what a crazy,
I like the
crazy
bandy man.
Yeah, the bandy man.
The bandy man. You don't get to gloss yourself. You don't get to give yourself the glossary. The bandy man.
That's awesome.
See,
you're gonna be like 3 different names by the.
Oh, is that you that said it's off, or was that him?
No, he's on there. He's here.
No,
he's here.
That was Chad, but yeah, like we were saying, I think I'm gonna have like 3 or 4 different.
Yes,
ones
you
by,
will.
Like, the end of 2 weeks.
You will.
And then it's probably just gonna go right back to Cream.
Yeah, probably. Probably in the end, because we're all trying to figure out a nickname for Cream. It's Cream. Nickname. How long ago was it that you were working with me?
What was it, around like 2017, 2018?
I want to say it was. I mean, that's 5 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago. I think you were like a freshman in college or something at the time.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that long ago. I think I was just starting out at Calhoun.
I just went to Calhoun, then Alabama, then UAH.
Yeah, I mean, going to Calhoun, the whole point is transferring to another school after you're done. Okay. Unless you want to do the 4-year, then go right ahead.
So, Grizz, we have 30 minutes ago struck down New York's proper cause gun law. You can now carry a concealed weapon in New York City.
Oh.
And the city can no longer deny you the permit if you are not a felon. So it's going to be interesting to see the effects.
By the way, on that over-under on wins, Arkansas will beat Cincinnati. Over 7 wins.
7.5.
7.5.
So
they said they're going to lose to BYU, Auburn, Mississippi State, and Alabama. I don't know about that. I think they might beat Arkansas and Mississippi State, but the BYU and Alabama is a little iffy.
So you think you think the Alabama game is a little iffy?
Well, I mean, I think they're going to beat Mississippi State. I don't know at Auburn. I think they could beat at Auburn.
State.
I think they could beat Auburn at Auburn.
That's a swing game.
But I was just seeing the
losses.
You think
they're going to beat Cincinnati at home?
Yes.
I would tend to agree.
But yeah, no, I'm sorry, my wording was wrong. But I think they're going to get stomped by Alabama this year. But I don't know. It's at Arkansas. It's at Arkansas.
At home against South Carolina.
Yeah.
What do you think? They're going to win
that
one?
Well, according to this, they're going to beat South Carolina, Missouri State, Texas A&M, Liberty, LSU.
According to what? What do you mean according to this?
The over-under.
You don't know.
The CBS
because they said 7.5?
The prediction, yeah. They think. I mean, the predictions are that they're going to beat Cincinnati, Carolina, Missouri State, A&M, Liberty, LSU, Ole Miss, and Missouri. I think they could beat South Carolina.
Who is saying that? When you say the predictions say that, you're just going based on the fact that they said 7.5.
I'm looking at the picks, and it says wins, and it's giving you the wins.
See, okay, but you got something I don't have in front of you. So you're looking at something that has the actual
CBS Sports,
the actual results.
Yes.
All right. So what do they have their record being? 7-5, or 8-4?
8-4. All
right, that's over.
Yeah.
That would be an over because they're over and under.
It says over under 7 wins.
Yeah, it is right now.
And at home against A&M is one of their wins.
I got to see that. Send me the link to that. Be a producer and send me the link to that.
All right.
So 7.5 is the number for Arkansas. They have them at 8 and 4. I want to look at some of the other ones. All right, let's get a break. Speaking of handicapping, when we come back, assuming they don't shut the radio station off on us to do maintenance, when we come back, Steve Merrill will join us from Pro Sports Info right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
Jabari Smith Jr., 6'10" forward out of Auburn, still the favorite to be taken number 1 at tonight's NBA draft. He was at -275 as of Wednesday. Duke's Paolo Banchero at +280 and Chet Holmgren of Gonzaga +500. Travelers Championship underway today. Rory McIlroy and Scottie Scheffler co-favorites +1,000 ahead of Justin Thomas at +1,200 and Patrick Kentley at +1,400. The Avalanche 1 win away from the Cup as they beat the Lightning in overtime Wednesday 3-2 to take a 3-1 lead in the Stanley Cup Finals. Colorado -133 on the money line at home in Game 5 Friday. The Lightning +125, the over-under at 6. I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Welcome to Allstate, where you can save just by being you. DriveWise in the Allstate mobile app gives you personalized driving feedback, and by adding it to your policy, you can save for driving safe just by being yourself. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Not available in every state. Savings based on DriveWise and other safe driving discounts. Savings vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. When it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, Managing Partner at University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Alabama A&M University football. Stop into University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com and view all our great offers and get pre-approved in minutes.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, people call the award-winning burgers totally insane, which is a compliment because Bad Daddy's Burgers are just that, chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness built with premium Angus beef. They're bold and they're bad. Pair one with one of their signature cocktails or assortment of local craft brews. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, 2317 Memorial Parkway. Check out our menu and even order online at BadDaddy'sBurgerBar.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Once again, temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 90s, only dropping into the upper 60s and lower 70s as we head into the overnight. Not a bad end of the work week across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. A mostly sunny sky, temperatures hanging out in the low and mid 90s. Not going to be as hot on Friday compared to what we've seen other days this week. A partly sunny sky for your Saturday, temperatures hanging out in the mid and upper 90s. Our next best opportunity for rain begins to move into the Tennessee Valley Sunday and then as we head into Monday of next week. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Bring that playoff intensity every day to our shows.
Bring it on, Chops. Let's go.
Okay, maybe just for Drew DeArmond.
Bing, me.
Listen for Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew. Weekday mornings starting at 7 on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
I'm ready for it.
Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. I lost the feed there, Grizz. I don't know if that's anything that happened on purpose or not, but maybe it did. But, I was enjoying a little ZZ Top. I was enjoying a little ZZ, but completely lost that deal. Okay. Well, with what's going on, I started thinking that, maybe, who the hell knows what's going on over there with that maintenance that they're doing. I don't know. I'm confused as well, but I can tell. Here's something I'm not confused about. I am not confused about TOC Sports and what they have done for this community and how they continue to take care of this community with all the orthopedic needs. It's TOC Sports. No matter how you got hurt, TOC Sports can take care of you. All right, Steve Merrill, I mean, this guy is out of control right now. I mean, he is absolutely nuts on the baseball picks right now. I get these baseball picks, and it's like, it's got to go the other way, doesn't it? But it never seems to. I mean, at some point in time, he maybe will lose one, but it's like it's just red hot right now. He's red hot, and he joins us now on a Neighbors Wealth Management hotline. Steve, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, Tom, doing well.
So at what point in time do I fade you? You know what I mean? At what point in time do I say you can't win every single night? This must be the night that you're not going to win, and we fade your picks. I mean, do you have any idea when you might go, south for a night or two?
Yes, but then I would use the opposite side of the picks that I like, so then you wouldn't want to fade them because then they're going to win. See the logic? It's like a spiral down a rabbit hole.
You've been amazing on the totals. What is the method behind the madness? What is it that you've kind of locked onto? It seems like you're crushing the totals over or under. I think last night's pick was over in the fourth inning. But when give us a little bit of how the sausage is made.
Yeah, well, first of all, I mean, the betting odds are still largely dependent on starting pitchers. And, of course, they don't go more than 5 or 6 innings. When you and I were growing up, they went 8, 9, innings a lot of times. So, you could make an argument you play some first 5 innings with these. But I also incorporate bullpen ratings, which I don't always mention in the analysis because it's kind of boring stuff and it's kind of random. But we still play full games because I do look at current form for bullpens, availability. And then I still think the biggest factor in all of baseball, as we've talked about over the years, that is not incorporated enough into the lines is, offensive momentum from teams. And, Pittsburgh lost 14-5 last night, but they still put up 5 runs. They did their own to get over that total. Of course, Chicago did it on their own, which was nice. But the night before the Pirates blew them out in a couple games straight, they blew out the Cubs. The Pirates have called up some young players. They're playing hard still. Both the Pirates and Cubs had lost like 10 out of 11 a week ago, but they're heating up offensively. That's why we had the over last night. And that's kind of stuff you have to look for. It's a long baseball season. These teams go through ebbs and flows, but I kind of feel like the odds makers and the betting public don't pay enough attention to like current offensive momentum because that's kind of the one consistency on a day-to-day basis.
You've had a few overs over the last week or so in Colorado. How much of that has to do with this stadium? Do they not adjust properly, do you think, for the stadium, or is this because Colorado and the pitching, just hasn't been there?
I mean, they definitely adjust, because we're playing over totals, as you know, of 11.5, 12, right?
Right.
Average total will be like 7.5 or 8. So they're making the adjustment. But once again, we pick our spots, and a lot of times they're not making the proper adjustment. And there's some pitchers that are ground ball pitchers. There's others that are fly ball pitchers. And it's not necessarily Colorado. Colorado over the years has kind of gotten that roster where they want guys that can perform in cores. They have mostly ground ball pitchers. But they have to play other teams, and those teams have to start who they have to start. And there's certain guys that just do not do well. They're not made to pitch well in the thin air and altitude. And it's usually kind of more, fading those opposing pitchers. And that's something that works well in Coors Field.
Steve Merrill with us, Pro Sports Info. Tonight is the NBA draft. We just got our VSiN report that we get at the top of every hour. And they're like talking about Jabari Smith is minus whatever, 275 to be the first pick in the draft. Do we bet on the NBA draft? Is that a losing proposition, or is there anything there to be said when you get something like that, like the draft, and how many will Auburn get 2 players picked in the first round, and Walker Kessler being a potential first rounder as well? Is that worth anything?
I mean, there's definitely obviously edges to be had, and if you look, the limits are fairly low because it's all purely information-based, and the sports books are trying to get it as fast as the bettors are. As a handicapper, as a full-time professional, I don't spend a lot of time on it just for the reason I look at it is, look, it's a one-off event, right? And I'd have to spend weeks and weeks, multiple days researching just for like a one-time event, one-time bet, whereas I can use my math models and my research on a daily basis to keep doing baseball, in the other sports. So I don't mess much with the NFL draft and the NBA draft for that reason, but it's very beatable. And, hey, look, the bet on Smith was a day or two ago when he had much better odds when it looked like Banchero might be the number 1 pick, right? So, now it looks like the prices are probably where they should be. And on the day of the draft, you're not going to get as many surprises. I mean, there's edges to be had. I mean, you can always look at like who might go higher, and there again, you're kind of handicapping the teams and what they might need or who they might pick. I think it's something fun to follow, but as a full-time sports handicapper, it really doesn't serve me much purpose because once again, I don't really care who these guys go to until they go to that team, and then I'll start handicapping that team when the season comes to see if they're better or worse.
Yeah. You and I are both big-time NASCAR fans. You used to recommend NASCAR. You don't so much anymore, but I think you still obviously keep a very close eye on it. And, we this week there's been a lot of conversation about Nashville here. We've had the track president on. We had Jordan Bianchi on from The Athletic. And, one of the things we note is the fact that there has been 12 winners in 16 races. I mean, that's something. I mean, there's only a couple of guys that got multiple wins. And you wonder, we even talked about the possibility – because some of the guys that don't have wins, like Ryan Blaney and Kevin Harvick and some of these other guys might come up with a win. Could there actually end up being more than 16 winners? Of course, playoff, win gets you into the playoff, but if there's more than 16, somebody could miss the playoffs with a win. Don't know if that'll happen, but do you think that this is going to settle out at some particular point in time and we'll see somebody lock in and we'll get somebody kind of dominating and winning several races, or is this going to continue 12 winners in 16 races?
Yeah, I think it'll settle down a bit. Of course, we had the new cars, this year, so I do think that made things a little more random early on, and we did see some of those unusual winners, and first-time winners in the first couple months of the season. Nashville, it's only the second year they've run the Cup Series on this track, so, I guess you can make an argument we could see something strange again. Of course, Suarez gets his first win in the previous race a couple weeks ago. That was a road course. You always get kind of road course ringers. Suarez is somewhat of a road course ringer. Nashville should play it a little more normal this week. If you look at last year's race, it was dominated by Kyle Larson. He led 264 laps and won the race. Nobody else led more than 13 laps, and that was Chase Elliott, who finished dead last. So, the usual suspects should be there again this week. And the only other person to lead 10 laps or more was Kyle Busch. So it was Larson, Elliott, and Busch are the only guys that led more than single-digit laps last year. So I think this is a very handicappable track. And, once again, we'll take a look at the practice sessions. But heading into the weekend, Kyle Larson looks like a guy to beat.
It was interesting because the race, it was actually pretty racy. I mean, the track had a history of not being racy, and I'm a big proponent of tearing up the concrete and making it pave it and do like what they did in Miami, get graduated banking, get it up to 22 degrees banking and so on. Because look, the IRL is not coming back there, so that track was a kind of a hybrid track. Next year, even though large it was pretty tight, so I think that's part of what this is going to look like too this year.
Yeah, and I think it's great that they're going to different types of tracks. And, going back to Suarez winning at Sonoma a couple weeks ago, first Mexican driver ever to win. I would hope maybe they're going to race down in Mexico. I believe there's a road course down there that the Xfinity Series ran on a few years ago.
Yeah.
And obviously NASCAR is not opposed to having more road courses, and that does get you more variants of winners. Getting back, by the way, to the 12 winners in 16 races, I don't think we're going to get more than 16. But like you said, even if we get to 14 or 15 different winners, it's not that a winner gets bumped. Like you said, it's one of those non-winners who could be a very good driver still doesn't get in unless he's the points champ. So that's something that could still happen. And that's another reason a racer would get bumped, by the way, in the future is if you have the points champ not have a win, which is pretty unlikely. I still think the future odds are very tough in NASCAR. It's basically handicapping Phoenix, which is the final race now, for the last few years.
And so I think that's going to be something to take a little bit of a look at. Steve Merrill with us, ProSportsInfo.com. All right, Steve, futures. I know you don't like yours. Your money sits there for – yeah.
They do not include, obviously, the bowl games. It does not even include the conference championship. So don't think you're going to get an extra win there by Alabama sneaking into the conference title and winning the division because it's just regular season 12 games. Obviously, 10.5, you're going to pay a lot of juice to be over because it is more likely they get to 11 than 9. And as you said, it's all about the schedule. Favorable in the aspect that they only have 5 road games, but they are at Texas early on, at Arkansas, and at LSU, at Ole Miss, in the November could get them as well, but would have to lean over 10.5. I think 11 is a much more likely scenario.
I agree with you there. Auburn is at 6. They were at 5.5, and it actually got bet up to 6. And they've got they beat us at Alabama. I'm not sure there's 6 wins on this guy. I mean, that Penn State game feels like the swing game. If Penn
Yeah, this total jumped out at me because it's a very low total for a quality team still. But then again, you realize they play in such a difficult conference. But then you look at the schedule; they only have 4 road games. You said they have 8 home conference games. They also have LSU at home, A&M at home. They have to go to Alabama, which is a sure loss. Almost at Georgia, so that's almost 2 sure losses. And by the way, future odds, I don't like odds to win the Super Bowl because the juice is just the house edge is too high. But I love Caesar win total. This is the one future type of bet you should be playing. And what you want to do, especially in college football, is a smaller schedule. Is you look at the definite wins, and you could probably give Mercer, San Jose, should be Missouri, definite wins. But like you said, in Western Kentucky, so that's 4. So they got to pick up a couple more of those other 8 games, and it's going to be dicey. They probably win 6 or 7 games this year.
Yeah, they're right. I think they're right close on that number. Arkansas is an interesting one. Their back number is 7.5. Again, Jerome Ford and so on, and now they're moving into the Big 12 next year, so they feel like they got bigger chops. But if Arkansas beats Cincinnati at home, well, at that point, then they are going to beat South Carolina. They got a chance against Texas A&M. They'll beat LSU and Ole Miss possibly. I don't know. I'm feeling them right on the 7 win. I don't know where that 8th win comes from. It depends on how good you think A&M is going to be too. That's another big part because a lot of these have A&M losing at a place like Auburn or at Arkansas, and I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think Cincinnati's going to be a tough game out of the gate. If they've lost their coach and some offensive guys, but they got 8 offensive guys coming back roughly, 6-year fickle a coach. So had Cincinnati really lost the coach, had a new regime coming in, it would have been a great time to catch them in the first spot. But yeah, out of the gate, Cincinnati and South Carolina. Don't forget they have Spencer Rattler now, a quarterback.
Yeah,
South Carolina's going to be tough, so they could very well start 0-2 with 2 home games, which would be a real uphill battle after that.
Yeah, I like South Carolina. They're my breakout team. They're a team that I think could be a breakout team. Their number is 6 right now, and they won 6, I think, last year in the regular season. I think they were 6-6 and then won their bowl game. But Georgia State, Charlotte, and South Carolina State, I think that South Carolina's over. I think they might beat Kentucky as well. I think they'll give Arkansas a ride, but Arkansas wins that game. They're going to lose to Florida and Georgia and Clemson. So there's 3 guaranteed wins. There's 3 guaranteed losses, and the question is, do they go 4-2 in the other 6 games?
Right, exactly. That's how you have 10. He still won. The reason I bring that up, Tom, is because last year, coming in a year ago, Spencer Rattler was 2-1 favorite at Oklahoma to be the Heisman winner, and ends up not even playing basically. And now he's 40-1. If you want a little bit of a flyer on a Heisman guy, that would make a lot of sense. You're getting some good value now. That's another reason I agree with you. I think South Carolina could be an underrated team this year. They've got a lot of upside.
Is he that far down? Is he really at 40-1? Spencer Rattler?
About a month ago. I haven't looked. I can pull it up right now. When I looked about a month ago, I was talking about this with somebody, and he was. I thought he was around 40-1. So considering he was 2-1 a year ago, I thought that was pretty eye opening.
Well, the guy that's Spencer Rattler this year maybe is Quinn Ewers. Although Spencer Rattler had played for a minute, the year before for Oklahoma, so we'd seen some of him. I'm stunned at Quinn Ewers. I don't know who they think that kid is going to be. Couldn't get on the field, couldn't take a snap for Ohio State, and he's in the top 5 of the Heisman favorites. Is Quinn Ewers out of Texas, and I wish you could fade that because I don't understand that. I don't know. Maybe they think he's going to be like Bryce Young and a guy who never really played. And then all of a sudden he's going to be the Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah. By the way, I'm looking right now. 40-1 Spencer Rattler.
40-1 for Spencer Rattler. That's a flyer, man.
Leading indicator. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
and
good flyer.
DJ at Clemson at 33-1. How about that? That's another one. That's a guy that was probably top 5 last year when the season started for Heisman. Right? I'd have to pull him up, but I bet Ukulele was probably a 5-1 or less last year as well. And, Clemson, really slow start last year. I thought they were as good as anybody in the country in the final month, to be honest.
But see, and the other thing and the other thing in DJ's favor is that they'll win games. See, the problem for Spencer Rattler is that they got to be no worse probably than 10-2. Nobody's going to come off a 9-3 team and be the Heisman Trophy winner. At least at Clemson, you know what I mean? If he's playing decent, they got one of the best defenses in the country. If Clemson goes 11-1, 12-0, something like that, which they can in that conference, you look at the quarterback. You automatically look at the quarterback, so he can kind of get some cover from his team. Whereas
2.5 to 1.
Interesting that Bryce Young is what's happened to. It's just I wonder how much of it is just voter.
Right, and you have to look at quarterbacks. I mean, because, receivers can win it. We've seen it happen, but someone has to get them the ball, So it's just like the MVP in the Super Bowl. It's almost always a quarterback for that same reason. And now that we're in such a pass-heavy era of college and pro football, you see why the quarterbacks are the way to go. So when I can get a guy like, DJ or Rattler, that were favorites last year, kind of Clay mentioned that you heard the show, and I'll email it to you. My email is steve@prosportsinfo.com. You can also check me out on wagertalk.com. I'm doing some shows today that are archived 24/7 on Wager Talk TV on YouTube, wagertalk.com, and once again
let's get a break. We'll come back and set you up for a short final segment of the show next, right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and...
Phone here? It's the Progressive mobile app. Just push that little button there and report your claim. Attaboy.
When owning a small business gets painful, Progressive Commercial is here to make it all better. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
What's this? Candy drawer? Who wants a lollipop?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Covered subject to policy terms and conditions. Photo claims not available in all states or situations.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of the Stanton Law Firm. Stan, I guess you are the Stanton in the law firm.
Yes, Wes, that's me, and we started the Stanton Law Firm so that myself and 4 other attorneys with me can help clients litigate, negotiate, and creatively solve legal and real estate problems.
Now, Stan, you grew up on a family farm in this area and have made a name closing on houses and land with your closing company, Jacob Title.
I grew up on a farm which used to be in the country. That, plus having closed on so many homes and farms, one of my colleagues started referring to me as a classic dirt lawyer. Now, I didn't know how to take that at first, that tag. That's exactly what I do and what I am.
Stan, I know the attorneys at Stanton Law Firm are regular listeners, and we plan to have you on periodically. You and I have seen have impacted this community.
Stay tuned, and you may hear about friends like Steve Booker, Clarence Johnson, Thomas Boyd, and even a few of those offensive line hogs like Hoss Johnson, and maybe you remember some other of those guys too.
I remember Clarence Johnson. He beat us one year. He was unbelievable.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Hey, Dad? Cool if I change this?
They may not get each other's music, but they can both get a COVID-19 booster shot. Because the CDC recommends booster shots for people 12 years and older after completion of a primary series. Schedule an appointment as soon as you are eligible. Sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer.
Outdoor season is coming. Can't wait.
Here at Brooks & Collier, neither can we. Outdoor season is also grilling season.
And we have plenty of grills and smokers in stock. From Traeger, Blaze, and Big Green Egg.
There's the greenhouse. New indoor items and home furnishings as well.
Whatever it takes. Browse over 2 acres of furnishings. Can't wait.
How about you? North Alabama's indoor and outdoor living headquarters for over 75 years.
813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Once again, temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 90s, only dropping into the upper 60s and lower 70s as we head into the overnight. Not a bad end of the work week across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. A mostly sunny sky, temperatures hanging out in the low and mid 90s. Not going to be as hot on Friday compared to what we've seen other days this week. A partly sunny sky for your Saturday, temperatures hanging out in the mid and upper 90s. Our next best opportunity for rain begins to move into the Tennessee Valley Sunday, and then as we head into Monday of next week. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Local sports is covered right here.
Well, appreciate what you guys do for sports, but also for high school sports and taking time to talk to us. That means a lot, and appreciate what you guys do, and appreciate you having us on.
97.7 ESPN The Zone. Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. Braves are trying to break in with their pregame. We will not let them right now. Look, I said we're all about the games. Not necessarily the pregame. But we are all about the games, and we will have the Braves coming up right after Andy Schatzley, who is going to join us at the top of the hour. I want to talk some baseball with Andy Schatzley. And then after that, we'll turn it over to the Braves from that point forward. Text window. Cream is trying to gloss himself? Who in the hell does he think he is? Danny T?
Just come in and do what he wants. He owns the place.
Danny T glossed himself. Look, there are guys that have. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, Danny T, Ray Dog, the great Bama Zach. You know, there are other guys. The Undertaker, may his soul, rest his soul in peace, and too as well. There are guys. Wolverine Dan. I mean, I didn't gloss all of these guys, but I did some. All right, I see our engineer has been lurking behind Grizz. The engineer's ready to do something. I don't know what, but we'll find out. Maybe we'll be talking to Andy Schatzley next from the Trash Pandas. And we have Braves baseball coming up. It's all happening right here on your home for pretty much everything. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports as teams finalize their draft boards ahead of tonight. The order of the top 3 picks is increasingly firm, with Auburn's Jamari Smith Jr. going to the Magic first overall, Chet Holmgren of Gonzaga heading to the Thunder at number 2, and the Rockets taking Duke's Paolo Banchero at number 3. NBA draft coverage 7 Eastern on ESPN. The Cup final should have counted. Tampa thought the Avs had 6 skaters on the ice last night before the game winner was scored in OT. 2-time defending champion Lightning down 3-1, facing a must-win in Game 5 tomorrow, 8 Eastern on ABC and ESPN+.
We cover all the SEC schools, including Western Union and Venmo.
I want that money!
You know, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
Like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back. Shorty segment here. Shorty segment. Thom Abraham Show. And by the way, this segment of the show is brought to you by Valley Equipment Rental. At Valley Equipment Rental, the only thing that's better than Valley Equipment Rental is two Valley Equipment Rentals, and they now have two locations for you, one off the North Parkway, one off the South Parkway. The one off the North Parkway has all kinds of equipment up there that the contractors will love, the bigger excavators, dozers, things like that, while the one on the South Parkway maintains everything they have in the past, including all of those excavators and skid steers and lifts and all of that stuff. And you can find everything at both locations. They're tremendous. They deliver all over the area. And Ross Roberts has always been a big supporter of anything that's going on in the town. Anytime I call Ross and I say, hey, Ross, you help me out? Boom, he's on top of it. He's a great guy. Also a great guy is the Trash Panda skipper, Andy Schatzley, and he joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline in our last few minutes before we go to Braves baseball. Skip, welcome back. How are you?
Hey, Tom. Good. Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Congratulations on the first half title, such as it is. I mean, that's certainly an accomplishment. It locks you into the playoffs, and you guys. I mean, it wasn't like you won on the last day. I mean, you guys kind of went scorched earth here throughout this first half.
We've definitely played well lately. I don't know if the last time that we talked you would have used scorched earth in that context. I think we were in Pensacola. So they've been extremely steady. We got off to a good start. We've done a good job of navigating some roster changes and handling a little bit of adversity. That's something that we've talked about too, kind of how long it takes us to kind of reinvent ourselves and find our stride. Whenever we go through some changes in personnel, will kind of dictate our success, and we've done a good job of that. That has proven to hold true. And then whenever you get down toward the end of the half, and certainly we still have a long way to go, they could smell it a little bit. We got a little bit of help from Pensacola, and it was something that was really important to our organization and really important to our players. They did a great job last week, and what I'm most proud of is with a week to go in the half, and I guess typically nothing from a standing standpoint really on the line, we've really played well the first two nights here in Birmingham also.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that about it being important to the organization and to the guys. With so many guys coming and going, and look, their goal is to get noticed. Their goal is to get to Salt Lake. Their goal is to get to Los Angeles as quickly as possible. That's what the guys are thinking about. But somehow it sounds like you have been able to get them to buy into, you know what, winning at this level is good too. And regardless of your own personal numbers and how you are doing and all of that, maybe the organization looks at winning. Maybe they don't. Maybe they do. But to me, there's how you are playing, but then there's also, do you have a winning attitude? And I think it would mean something for the organization up the line to look down and say, these guys are developing a winning culture that they can eventually bring to L.A.
I think it's a theme that you see. I think it's a theme that you see in systems that if you go back and track, minor league championships or minor league playoff appearances or division championships at certain levels, a lot of times that can be a little bit of a leading indicator. We're certainly hoping to be able to continue that. But for me, I mean, Friday and Saturday night at home, the energy in the ballpark, the different kind of atmosphere and environment during batting practice, the feel of the first inning, the feel of Sunday trying to close something out, we can replicate a lot of things in Tempe. We can simulate a lot of things in spring training. We can simulate a lot of things in instructional league. There is no substitute for that. There is no substitute of playing in a ballpark in front of a lot of people that care about the outcome with a lot on the line. And that has a way of galvanizing a group also. And so they've done a great job. They are concerned with their own careers, and we talk about that all the time. They owe their families first, but a very, very close second to that, if not 1A and 1B kind of thing, is the organization. And it's a good group. They care about their own careers, but they care immensely about each other also.
And let's be honest. I know that you're, working on developing players, and that's all fine and dandy. But you got your own career, right? And managers are definitely graded on wins and losses. And for you, I would think that it's very, very important for you to win as much as you possibly can and get that notice throughout this organization and other organizations. It's kind of neat to see that the guys buy into that as well. Maybe they're not doing it for you, but on the other hand, you can be the beneficiary of this as well.
Well, I'm going to disagree with that a little bit. I think my dad was a coach, and it's one thing that's been I guess was really an elite example of whenever I was growing up. If you get into coaching, or if you get into player development, or if you get into leadership really of any kind for yourself, I think you're setting yourself up to fail, and I think it's going to show through to the people that you're leading. So this is going to sound like a little bit of a cliche, but my favorite thing about this staff is that it is not about us. Do we have to take care of our families? Yes. But all of us take care of our families through being a part of somebody else's story. And that is legitimately why we're here. That is genuinely our motivation. It's the motivation of Dan. It's the motivation of Kenny. It's the motivation of Michael. If we're able to advance through helping a group achieve its goals, then fine, but that's certainly not the be-all, end-all. And to me, especially the three of those guys and the combination of the four of us, I think it's why things have worked out pretty well to this point.
It's a phenomenal answer, and I'm still going to say that it's to your benefit to have the wins on your next to your name. It doesn't suck to have that on the back of your card. So you're winning.
Here's the thing with winning is that everything that we're trying to do, the better we can make the environment, the more progress the players are able to make.
Right.
And winning certainly helps facilitate that. And winning is also an indicator that your processes are in the right place and that you're working on the right things. And so it's all of us are working toward trying to create an environment that people enjoy coming to work in, and we feel like if we can do that, the results are going to take care of themselves.
Well, speaking of environment, Andy Schathley with us. He is the skipper of the Trash Pandas. Speaking of environment, can we let's give the fans a little bit of love for this. I know fans don't, blow the ball out of the stadium, and but it's got to be something for the guys, for half of their games, to be playing in front of a big crowd, to be playing in front of an appreciative crowd. And you got to think that to some level, even though they're professionals, that at some level, the guy takes the ball and he's on a bump and there's 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people in the crowd. He's juiced up more so than where he takes the ball and there's 250 people in the crowd.
It's 100%,
don't you think?
I think. It's not some level. It's very substantial. And I'm not 100% sure what our record is on Friday or Saturday night at home. But I can't remember a lot of tough Friday and Saturday nights. It's 100% palpable. It is 100% something that the players enjoy and appreciate. I think it goes both ways. I think part of the reason for the fan support is because the guys do play so hard, and it is palpable that our players do care about the brand. They do care about the wins and losses. And I think there's a little bit of a snowball effect where that feeds into a little bit of the fan support, and the fan support certainly 100% feeds in all of our energy as well.
Yeah, I would say 25-11 at home, by the way, overall. So I don't know how the splits work on a Friday night, but as good as you guys are right now at playing 6-15 baseball, 25-11 at home. That's the best record in the entire league at home. So congratulations to the fans as well, helping the Trash Pandas win a lot of baseball games. Now, having said that, I am not a fan of the split season thing. I don't like it. I'm trying to figure out what the hell you're playing for in the second half other than pride and so on. I think this, and I've thought this for 100 years, ever since I've been associated to AA ball and had this split season deal. I think if you win the second half, you should go right to the championship series. I mean, I know it's like, the playoffs. The playoffs are not about – the teams are not going to make money on the playoffs. They just don't in minor league baseball. I think the reward should be if you win the first half, you win the second half, screw that to the playoff series. You're going right to the championship series. There should be something.
Well,
tell me what you're playing for in the second half.
We're not in the business of making rules. We're in the business of playing under the rules that Major League Baseball sets in front of us. To me, I think that what you're able to lay out in front of them is that they don't play halves in the big league. Have you guaranteed yourself something? Yes. Is it indicative of the processes being where they need to be? Of course it is. But you don't play halves in the big league. And so, something that we talked about in April is that it doesn't matter on what Sunday or what day of the week or what close of the series that you're trying to close out a series and remain in first place. It doesn't matter what level you're doing that, and it doesn't matter what time of the year you're doing it in. It's always a big deal, and you can't expect to be able to do it in a September in Anaheim if you can't do it in April in Huntsville. And so you kind of keep the same focus. You try to take it one day at a time, and you make sure that they understand that it's a long season in the big leagues. It's a longer one than what it is here. And the only way to get good or practice winning a division is to try to win a division. So we're going to attack the second half in the same way that we attacked the first half and hopefully prepare these guys for the rest of their career.
Well, and certainly, again, the guys that are watching them are going to watch that as well and see how a player finds his motivation in every at-bat, every pitch that he throws, and so on. So that's a good answer. You know, it is political season. Have you ever thought of running for office? We got, still got some races.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't talk about politics. I want no part of it. And I think whenever people look at that stuff on paper, they underestimate the competitiveness of these guys. Regardless of what the record is, they go out there every night with a lot on the line for their families, and that's really all the motivation they need.
That's a great point. All right, finally, that freak Shohei Ohtani up at the big club. I mean, it's 8 RBI 2 nights ago, 13 strikeouts last night. You guys got your own business to take care of, but obviously you got to kind of keep an eye on that. And just as a baseball man, I still don't think that people understand exactly what we're looking at here. I mean, this is so freakishly crazy what we're looking at. And for you, with all your years in the game, I mean, do you get used to it, or do you ever just look at it and say he did what? He had 8 RBI last night and he struck out 13 tonight. What the hell is that?
I think he's underrated. With all the accolades that he get, I think he's a great player. You're talking about Roy Halladay and Ken Griffey and the same guy, something to that effect. I mean, it is it's hard to appreciate greatness in real time. I feel like Michael Jordan was probably taken for granted for a little bit. I know that I took Tiger Woods for granted whenever I was growing up. It's hard to appreciate it in real time. What he's doing is incredible. It's never been done before. I don't know that it's ever going to be done again. And certainly it's incredible to kind of get a little more of a behind-the-scenes look from afar, if that sentence even makes sense, about him. But, as valued as he is and as much hype as he gets, I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves.
And by all accounts, he's a great guy, right? The guys love him in the clubhouse. He's a jokester. He's one of the guys. He's working on his English,
From everything that you hear kind of from the outside, I've had extremely limited dealings behind the scenes in big league camp. He is an absolute non-issue. He is as good a person as he is player, and that's really saying a lot. Yeah,
it really is something, and it is something that he doesn't get more attention worldwide as for what he is doing, because it's just stupid. It would be like Tom Brady being the best safety in the NFL. You know what I mean? It'd be like Tom Brady, throwing 40 touchdowns and intercepting 10 passes,
100%. Tom Brady and Ed Reed are the same guy.
There you go. Great analogy. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you. Keep it rolling. I know you will. And we'll look forward to chatting again down the road.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Thank you for everything you do.
All right. Thank you, Andy Schatzley. Right, Grizz? Can you imagine Tom Brady? He throws a touchdown pass. He goes to the sideline.
Yeah.
He gets a drink of water. They kick the extra point. Then he goes out there and intercepts the pass. And then he goes to the sideline, gets a drink of water during a commercial break, and then he goes out there and throws a touchdown pass. I mean, that's what we're looking at. That's what I don't think people get.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Nuts. All right. Coming up here in just a few minutes. Are you ready, Grizz? Grizz, are you ready?
Oh, we're ready.
Okay, we're ready. All right.
So I don't know about the internet, but we're ready.
All right. Well, let's get out of here. Get me out of here then. Fire something. Give me music. Do whatever the hell you want to do. Get me out of the way for the Braves and the Giants, because I am excited about this game. First pitch is coming up in just a few minutes. Braves and Giants coming up next. We'll have a full Football Friday show for you tomorrow. We might even do a future factor tomorrow with these over-unders out. We might even do that. We'll see. Grizz mixed the show and did a tremendous job. The Bandy Man watched him mix the show.
He helped.
And helped.
He to an extent.
And I helped. I am Thom Abraham. Braves baseball is next. And then Arkansas and Ole Miss for a seat in the championship series at the College World Series. Enjoy your afternoon of baseball right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.